Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz hitting the road today for a two-day bus tour in the battleground state of Georgia. We're joined now by Leslie Sanchez and Chuck Rocha. Leslie is a CBS News political analyst and a Republican strategist. Chuck is the founder and president of Solidarity Strategies. He's also a Democratic strategist who previously served as a senior advisor for Senator Bernie Sanders and his presidential campaigns in 2016 and 2020. Great to have both of you here. Let's look at some of the polling. You look in Georgia right now. It's a tight race, 49%, 49%, based on CBS News' latest estimate, and among likely voters. And then we can bring that up on screen. We can show you that. And then among Hispanic voters, this is what we're seeing nationally. Kamala Harris, the vice president, at 58%. Former President Trump at 41%. What explains the gap? And we'll begin with you, Leslie, on the 58 to 41 number there among Hispanic voters.
I'd say that Harris is underperforming with Hispanic voters for the Democratic side. Traditionally, if Democrats are in around 64%, they win in terms of the Latino vote in those swing areas. Republicans have averaged about 31.5% for the last 11 presidential elections. When you get into the 40 territory, that's a winning number in Arizona, Nevada, moving along the Sun Belt states. So the real question is, as the Latino voter is changing, they're younger, they're bicultural, they are, English and Spanish dominant, and they're just not the 1980s or 1990s Latino voter. I think it's becoming more of a challenge for campaigns to connect with them.
And just a quick follow-up with you, Leslie. Former President Trump is proposing mass deportations if he wins the White House. How's that affecting the conversation in that community?
It depends where you're talking. If you're talking about Texas, an area that has third, fourth generation Latino voters, they're very supportive. Overwhelmingly, I'd say 60%, two-thirds support the idea of doing that. Even some soft conservative Democrats, because they feel like they've been overrun by undocumented aliens in other areas. And I think that's consistent you're seeing along the U.S.-Mexico border. But if you go to somewhere like Georgia or North Carolina, it's going to have a different type of attitude. You have a different sensibility, a different cultural attachment, and they're not so aligned or close to the border. So it's not going to be maybe 64%, but maybe half and half.
Chuck, at the Democratic National Convention, Vice President Harris, and in some of her advertising too, has talked about being someone who was tough on border policy when she was in California as the Attorney General, as a prosecutor. How is that messaging affecting core Democratic voters, especially messaging? When you look at her 2019-2020 campaign, some Democrats and progressives didn't love her position and past record on immigration. How do they see it now and the way she's framing that issue?
I think there's a reason why you've seen the numbers move to the positive to where they were compared to where Joe Biden was. This election is not going to be a national election. We look at national polls to get theories and to see what trend lines are doing. You cover that. I've covered that. But the real election is going to come down to just 7 states. And in those states, 85% of the people have already made up their mind. So she's talking to just that small sliver of people in the middle who do think 2 things. They think there should be a pathway to citizenship, but they also believe we should have a secure border. And I think she's trying to walk that line. You saw it at the convention. You see it in Senate races like Ruben Gallego. You're going to see that as a common thread with Latinos and with Democrats trying to get to that persuadable universe of voters.
Just real quick with Chuck, you mentioned Ruben Gallego, his Senate race in Arizona. Why is he doing well in the polling based on your evaluation?
He's a Marine. He grew up in a blue-collar family. He worked in kitchens when he was young. He didn't sleep on a bed till he went to college because he had to give his bedroom to his 3 sisters. That's a real American story. Whether you came from Cuba, Venezuela, Mexico, Puerto Rican, and there's so many Mexicans in Arizona, they can relate with this guy and say, look, he may be a Democrat, I may be an independent or a moderate Republican, but I like that guy. That's why he's doing well.
It's interesting when you're talking about on the state level. So Trump is performing 5-6 points higher than the Republican Senate candidates in those competitive races. And it's because of stories like that, relatable to the community, has longstanding ties. And I think the question that really Democrats fall into is things like social services. And Hillary Clinton ran into that when you're talking about driver's licenses for undocumented aliens. That was a really difficult issue to kind of swallow down ballot. They had a difficult time politically. You're talking about driver's license again, or any of those, access to housing, access to health care for undocumented aliens. I think it poses a very difficult question.
Whenever I go down to Atlanta, Georgia, and just explore Georgia as a reporter, I'm always struck by how Georgia's changing. People talk about Georgia sometimes in politics as a state with white population and a black population. but it has a growing Asian American community. It has a growing Hispanic community, especially you go to some suburbs of Atlanta, a strong, vibrant Hispanic community. How do you see Georgia and how Democrats are really trying to pull together different constituencies to make a winning coalition?
It's the only reason she's down there right now. There's 1 million Latinos that live in Georgia. Latinos are a big part of the fabric of that. They've elected Latinos now to the state house, city government, the AAPI community, growing. But what you're going to see her do, and there's a reason why. Me and you've covered campaigns and been part of campaigns for a long time. Watch where they go. That tells you where the polling tells you. She wouldn't be there if she couldn't win. They would not waste a time. There's one thing, I've run a presidential campaign, you never get back, which is time and money. She's there because there's a pathway. There's a pathway that wasn't there under Joe Biden. And a lot of that has to do with these voters of color in this state. And when she tells the story, you'll see her lean into being an immigrant family who made and got to experience the American dream. That's something that cuts across all party lines, but especially with young voters of color. And in Georgia, there's a newer population of just first-generation Latinos that are unlike Nevada and Arizona that are second and third generation.
Just final thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's the new Latino South. It's those outer suburbs, or exurbs that are really bicultural. You have a lot of intermarriage, you have a lot of bilingualism, and first generation.
And a lot of Mexicans that wear cowboy hats like me.
A lot of Mexicans that wear cowboy hats.
I thought you were the only cowboy hat person I've seen in Washington, D.C.
Well, they're
DC
getting
sure.
elected. They're getting elected right now as Democrats, and it's an opportunity, I would say, for both sides.
But Chuck, you didn't bring your cowboy hat today.
I'll bring it next time, I promise.
We didn't ask for that.
I'll bring my cowboy hat. There we go.
All right, Leslie and Chuck, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.